Hey guys, Spirit of the Law here. Welcome to Road to 1800, Episode 3. Before I start, I just want to apologize for the little break since the last episode. I'm just glad nobody noticed that I'm a little late with this one. I've had a few games between Episode 2 and this one that I lost the recordings of, unfortunately, so my rank is a little bit higher than it was. But we'll just ignore that and continue on from here. So that all being said, we're going to branch into new territory for the series and try a team game. This is going to be a 4 vs 4 Megarandom with the expansions and random civilizations. The ratings, as you can see, are between the mid-1600s to 1700s. So let's jump into it. Right away, as you can see, Megarandom is throwing us for a bit of a loop, and we have no town center and no scout, but we do have an archery range, so I guess that makes up for it, and is kind of interesting for the options it'll give a little bit later. First priority then is to find a town center location. It's worth looking around a little bit, and I find a nice spot here. This spot is amazing because I have protection on my wood line, I have protection on my gold, and once he gets out of the way, I'll also have deer nearby who collect faster than sheep. So this is really about as good as it gets. I try to leave space for a farm in behind there, and I think I calculated that right, that it's the 3 tiles in there. So I can even fit farms mostly around it once I clear this out. It'll still be a reasonable town center in that regard. So I am the Huns, which is also nice because I don't have to build houses, though I start with a little bit less wood. In this case it's fine, I can still make my town center. I am going to reveal the map just so that we can take a look at who else is around, and we're all Xing where our town centers are right now. In case you're not sure why we're doing that, there's some generally expected roles when you play online, and knowing where you are helps you decide if you're going to do early aggression or if you're going to fast castle. So this is my flank. I should be backing him up, and he's the Indians. And he's really close to his opponent here, who's Britons. That's a great civilization for him. They're already strong for feudal rushing, and he's combining that with getting an archery range right at the start. He also has a nice wood line around his town center and found some sheep, though it's not quite as nice of a location as mine with having the gold and the wood and the deer all in range. That was pretty much perfect. But Britons, really good on this map for sure. And these guys, it's kind of funny how the map worked out. This is our team. There's red, and then me and the purple, and then we had yellow as the Burmese, and then we have blue as the Italians, and that's our team. And you can really see that it's 3 vs 3, and then there's also this 1 vs 1 happening over there. So I wasn't sure right at the beginning. Red did seem to be far away, and I don't think yellow flared right at the beginning, or maybe he did. But I had this sense that I was really far away from everybody, which right away in my mind says I should make more villagers, go up a bit later, and then come in and help somebody else afterwards once I have either knights, or I could go cavalry archers because I'm the Huns as well. So anyway, just keep going around. Nice town center location, again beside 3 resources, that's really what you want, and managed to lure in a boar there. And then also up here, going beside the wood line, and is close enough to the forage bush they can get a little bit out of that, I guess. Probably still mill that. Not quite as perfect of a location as I got. And then over here, again, luring boar. This one's kind of in the middle of nowhere. This is ideally what you don't want to do, just because it doesn't really help him with camps. He still has to go up here to get the wood, and he would still have to build a mill on the berries, and you haven't really saved yourself anything. So ideally, you don't want to place it in the middle of nowhere like that, although it is going to be helpful for farms a little bit later. And then this is also on their team Vikings, and he broke through really early. I noticed after the game that he had a big fishing economy, which is definitely good, gets you a lot of early resources, especially before you can get a lot of your villagers out. So on nomad starts, always if there's water, go for that. And you'll notice though that, I'll just take this away and slow down for a sec. We could see this water, but we weren't quite sure, and we knew we couldn't get to it, but we weren't sure if there was fish on the other side. It's kind of a gamble. You're hoping that you can break through and that there's going to be fish there. In this case, there is, but we didn't know that. And I had such a good location, I didn't have to build a lumber camp for a while. So I didn't do that, he did, it paid off. That was a good idea. And then also over here, I think he goes for fishing as well. He's broke through. That was good to make that a priority. And then Britons, yeah, he didn't go for the water, though he is a little further away from the water. I felt like I probably should have done that. So just get back to what I was doing here. I had gone through the deer that I had in the back. I wasn't super efficient with those. I did kind of split my villagers a lot, and I just found it was difficult I mean, it's nice because I had so many resources, but it actually got kind of tough because you're trying to fit everything under your town center. And even like this gold guy, he's kind of got to walk around them a little bit, and everybody's just getting in each other's way. So I thought I'd get the lumberjacks out of there and build a lumber camp anyway, even though I said that that's why it was such a great location, as I didn't have to. In the end, I actually did. Started putting down some farms just to get a little bit more consistent economy. I did take a boar from up here. It's a bit of a long lure, but I did manage it. I got loom before that, obviously. And now I noticed that somebody's gone up to the Feudal Age, and I haven't even gone up yet. I only have 26 population. I think I'm probably gonna head up pretty soon though, and there we go. Because I could go up a little bit later, being so far away from the opponents, but I also don't want to get too far behind. And I have definitely spent too long in the Dark Age before and didn't want that to happen this time. Now, Gray had a really strong start to the game. He had a quick advance because of his sheep bonus as Britons, and just seemed to have a solid plan. He's going for archers here, which is exactly what he should be doing. Ignore the 14 minutes. Usually archers come out a bit earlier than that, but again, we didn't start with the town center, so if you count from when the town center went up, it's probably about right on. And just check in on the other flank, Blue is going for towers. He's making them close enough that they could defend each other, which is smart. They're maybe a little defensive, and ideally he could have put those down a bit more forward. Unfortunately, it's going to be difficult to get his wood line and get him off the wood line, because you probably don't know that it's there, being so far away. And then these guys just booming up in the back. Both of them have fish economies. Nobody on our team. Oh yeah, Red got a bit of an economy going on the water. Getting hit kind of hard by this archer rush. I think those fish are definitely going to help him out. I think he's also doing the right thing here by not chasing the archers around with his villagers, though unfortunately he is losing a couple here. His job right now is to stay calm and get some skirmishers out whenever he can. Just keep the economy going and try not to lose too many villagers. He is going to be making some skirmishers, I'm sure, because he has the archery range here, and I should be backing him up. I'm currently doing a fast castle. The reason I didn't actually need to put both those down because I already had the archery range, but I did want to get the market because I wanted to get cartography right away. You'll notice that's the first thing I do once it's up, or the first thing I do is click up to castle. And then I get cartography right away just so I can see where things are. Because our communication was good, but on a Megarandom, you never really have any idea what the map's going to look like, so the sooner you get cartography, the better. So on the left side, we're pushing up, getting a tower. This is a great tower, taking him off stone. So he's going to have well, he has stone in the back, but ideally, if you can control stone, that's great, because then they can't build towers in response. So that's nice. Though on our side, we're still under some pressure. Red has transitioned to making skirmishers. They're not upgraded, but that's okay. Neither are the archers. Britons with an extra archery range are strong, and I should be helping out my ally, just unfortunately, I'm kind of a ways away. And I am going Castle Age because as Huns, I feel I should either be going for knights or going into cavalry archers, which is actually what I'm thinking about at this point. I'm not sure if I've quite done it yet. I am setting this villager forward. I was a little confused about what to do with this one. I was going to make an archery range, but then they're both really far away from each other, so I just centered back and decided that I was going to go for cavalry archers as soon as I hit Castle Age, which as Huns, totally fair, I think. My ally was doing some really nice things, like letting me know that some archers were coming my way. If you can just give your ally any kind of heads up online, it's usually really helpful, because then I could start making some skirmishers that I started queuing up. And so that was really good teamwork on his part. Any way he could help me stay focused on castling and sending units is ultimately going to come back and help him. It's kind of a cheeky move by Gray as well. I happen to have a villager that was right there in the path of the archers that probably would have gotten picked off if things had gone any differently. Luckily, because of the warning, I was able to move her to the other side of the archery range, and so they didn't actually see her. And just to follow up on the left side here, we're still doing the tower rush, and even Yellow's getting in on it, adding a few archers. That strikes me as a little unusual in this situation, and maybe he was prompted by the fact that he started with an archery range and thought he might as well use it. They're a little bit vulnerable if Green fast castles and sends knights or mangonels, but so far, I mean, it seems to be working out. I finally noticed that my allies were fishing, or one of my allies was fishing, so I started trying to cut through there. Because you can build a dock there, you actually can't build a dock here, because this is deep water. And those poor archers never really did anything. So I'm finally Castle Age, making my cavalry archers. Should be queuing those up pretty soon, I think. And putting down a second town center, though I'm going pretty much all in cavalry archers right now. I am trying to keep up my economy, and you'll notice here I don't really have a lot of lumberjacks. This is intended for wood, but I definitely don't have enough lumberjacks, especially to make these farms and also keep the cavalry archers coming out. So that's a bit of a mistake on my part. I should have been going more lumberjacks. You know, I kind of seem to be low for all of this time here. But finally, I can actually start helping my ally who's gone skirmisher. That's perfect. He can handle some of the archers, and then I can come in and handle any infantry that comes out. Or really, I could hopefully do some raiding in here, though this is a nicely defended base, I have to say. And things are going pretty well over here. Our mission really is just to hold on for right now. And I just got to keep Red from giving up and leaving. So I got to give him a little bit of support here. So coming in, unfortunately not really upgraded. I do have the range upgrades, so I don't have the armor upgrades, and I do want to prioritize that, but I also want to prioritize bloodlines and thumb ring as well. So starting to get tower rushed, a little late for a tower rush, I think. So if we just kind of fog of war in this, I think he should have attacked these cavalry archers. They didn't even have bloodlines right now. But did manage to sneak by, getting a few shots, but I'm going to get them out of there. I'm taking too many shots from this tower, especially now that it's garrisoned. And the reason he's doing these little palisades is to make it more difficult to attack the tower. So this tower is pretty entrenched in there. Even if I had some knights here, I don't think it would be doing anything. So rather than sitting here and trying to defend Red, this isn't really the worst. It takes him off the wood line, but he's already got one somewhere else. So here I decide, rather than keep my cavalry archers around and combat the towers, I'm just going to move forward and I'm going to attack Gray. So far I've seen him go for archers and then towers, which tells me that he probably hasn't had time to wall up, and he probably doesn't have any units or spare resources around to come up with something to combat this, especially since he's still Feudal Age as well. Luckily, I pretty quickly find some lumberjacks that happen to be within range. There's no defensive towers, which is the main thing I was worried about, especially given that he had already seen my archery ranges, and he didn't go for either defensive skirmishers or wall up, so I was kind of lucky there. I even got a chance to take out a couple of villagers. I think maybe I got 3. Maybe it's just 2. So I'm going to run around, he's going to move them, and whenever they move them, you want to chase them, try to find out where they are. Still sending forward some cavalry archers over here. My economy is sort of running at home. I'm just going to stay on 2 town centers and just try to keep villagers coming out of those. And when I think of it, make some more cavalry archers. But right now I'm just running around trying to raid here, and he seems to be under control of things here. And then I find the gold pile. Completely undefended. This is the dream when you make cavalry archers. At first, it seems like he doesn't even know this is happening, and my units are just going to town on this right now. Then, all of a sudden, he calls the GG and resigns. I don't know if he just didn't see the raiding happen and then found it after all the villagers were dead. Yeah, I'm just going to pause it here so it doesn't end, but at this point it becomes a 3 versus 4, and the rest of the team just resigns at that point because it's very difficult to come back when you're down a player like that. I was hoping they'd play it out a bit more, but it is what it is. Now, I'd like to do a bit of a post-game analysis on this one, just because it was a bit shorter. Kind of the big question is, where was Orange through all this? The thing is, he was Mayans. If he had some good knights, it'd be a little bit harder to forgive. It is 25 minutes, so it would be nice if he was sending something in. I understand he had a pretty big boom. He was the score lead, and actually Green, I think, was number 2 in the score lead. So they had a couple of guys here booming in the back, which isn't a bad thing, but it's nice if you can send something out, because I think both their flanks were feeling a bit of pressure. His town center was about to go down, and yeah, because he was getting 2 versus 1, couldn't fight it off. This guy was getting 2 versus 1, just lost a ton of villagers and was feeling pressure from 2 totally different units, and it's kind of hard to come up with a counter unless you have mangonels to this. So I think one of those situations where guys in the back maybe boomed a little bit too much, and we were a little bit better about just getting the aggression in there as quickly as possible, and ended up working out for us. So before we start doing any kind of post-game analysis, I just want to show you guys the achievements and just go through those. Military score, that's pretty good. Units killed to loss ratio for me, mostly just because cavalry archers are kind of like that, and we did a bit of ganging up. Advance times were a bit slow because of the nomadic start, though notice that Gray had a really fast feudal, and I think he executed that rush pretty well. Green also had a really good advance time to castle. He managed to do a bit on the water, but never really got it going in terms of land units like knights, which would have been probably the best choice there. And just let you take a look at that and the timeline. So even though it was a pretty short game, there were a couple of things that I just want to point out. To start with, I want to point out things that I thought went well and that were good choices that I made in that game. First of all, I think I found a really good town center location. Again, a lot of that is luck, and I just happened to have one, but at the same time, I did go out looking for it, and I did recognize it when I found it, and made sure I was looking for something that had 2 different resources at least, and in this case, it was 3, kind of 4 different resources that I could have a short walk distance to, and my town center could protect. As well, I think a really important thing is having a plan before you go click up to Feudal, and you know whether you're going to delay it a little bit to go for Castle Age, or if you're just going as quickly as possible to Feudal and into Aggression. I think I did a good job of waiting a little bit longer, which did help me get to Castle Age faster, and help me get out the Cavalry Archers really when we needed it, and I was lucky I had an ally that could hang on until I had done that process. I also think we had really good communication, and specifically I thought Red did a really good job communicating with me, though I thought Yellow and Blue also did a good job of communicating and working together at least. I did let them know what my strategy was going to be and that I was going for Cavalry Archers, and he also let me know when those archers were heading my way, which helped me not get caught off guard by that. And the last thing you want to do is get caught off guard by some units when you're in the pocket and totally change your game plan, and that wasn't even close to happening thanks to that heads up. Another thing I thought went well was that I think I pressed the advantage well, and a really important moment in this was where I had the Cavalry Archers and he had the Skirmishers there, or maybe didn't have the Skirmishers yet, but he had the tower there, and rather than get hung up on defending Red, I decided I'm going to go after Gray, because I think he's gone all in here, and I'm not seeing any real resistance to me just going in and messing up his economy. In this case, that ended up being a good decision, and I think a lot of times it's going to be a better idea to go after your opponent rather than just try to play the defense game. In terms of improvements and things I thought could have gone better in this game, I think scouting early on wasn't really great. I didn't get the sheep in there as much as I probably should have. I had a lot of sheep early on. I didn't really have to worry about my opponents being too close and stealing them, so I should have been out there scouting with those and just get a better sense of the map. I missed out on fishing because I didn't really go for it and I didn't have a good enough idea of the map. Another thing that wasn't that great is my economy balance in this game. I was kind of light on wood for a lot of the game, and especially for going so heavy on farms and trying to do double archery range with Cavalry Archer, I should have gone for more wood. I was really having trouble getting a third town center out, and there was a point where I had a lot of farms dying and I just couldn't keep up with that, and it was at a critical time when I was trying to micro with my cavalry as well. Just wasn't a great scene. I should have been a little bit more on top of that and had a few more villagers on wood earlier. But overall, I was pretty happy with this game. I do think Gray gave up a little bit too early, but maybe he also saw what was happening on the other side of the map. So I think it's fair to say that we played better as a cohesive team, and I think that's what led to the victory on this one. So that's all for episode 3. I promise episode 4 won't be as long of a wait. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.